Okay, Ferris Wheel at Night, one of the most anticipated novel by Minato Kanae, and I finally finished it, I finally read it, and is it great? Well... Hello everyone, back again with me Dante from Dante's Book Talk with another book review, and today I'm going to talk about Ferris Wheel at Night. First of all, if you look at the book on Goodreads, currently it's not doing that great. Some people like it, some people hate it, some are pleased by it, and some people are disappointed by it as well. And for me personally, I think I'm somewhere in the middle because I know that the book is not without merits, but on the other side, I was left quite dissatisfied by it as well. And today I would like to share with you some of the reasons why, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the story of Ferris Wheel at Night focuses on the lives of three families that live in Bukit Hibari, an elite housing that's literally on a hill. They are the Endos, the Satokos, and the Takahashis. One day, a murder happens in the Takahashis. You know, the mother kills the father. This incident shocks the neighbor, and this also begs the question, how do we define the children? Are they the children of a killer, or are they the children of a victim? More than that, how do the neighbors react to this, unexpected incident? And how could this, terrible murder happen in the first place? And by the way, we get to see the story from the perspectives of these three families, and in addition to that, the story is not told linearly, so it jumps back and forth. Okay, let's talk about the good thing first about this novel. First of all, I think there is a good message about family and community. How what happened in a family can impact a community, and in this case, how the murder that happens in the Takahashis spoil the image of Bukit Hibari. And it's also about how a community has social expectations that are quite difficult to be met by some of the families. Sometimes there can be a tension between a family and its neighbors. But despite all of the tension and disagreement, Ferris Wheel at Night seems to suggest that we should take care of one another. We should be responsible for each other because essentially we are part of the same community. And it doesn't matter if one is richer, one is poorer, one is a newcomer, or one has been there for like maybe years or maybe even decades. Then there's actually one paragraph that emphasizes that idea, and here it is. I believe that this paragraph doesn't only state the obvious, that they are all the residents of Bukit Hibari, but this paragraph essentially emphasizes how they are actually part of the same community. This is actually shown when the three families in this novel, who are at first, at odds with each other and don't really want to involve themselves with the other family's problems, gradually help each other. There are also several instances where one family prevent another family from doing an unthinkable crime. Second, I would like to talk about the title itself, that is Ferris Wheel at Night, which, in my opinion, and from what I can understand, refers to the issue of social class that is inherent within this novel. How some people from the upper class, look down upon those at the bottom. So the people in this novel apparently also says that the hill belongs to the rich and the coast, belongs to the poor. And this definitely shows how the people in the upper class literally looking down upon the people at the bottom. In the novel, it is also mentioned that they're going to build the biggest Ferris wheel in Japan. And this kind of makes the idea that the hill belongs to the rich look ridiculous. Because since the Ferris wheel is actually taller than the hill, it doesn't mean that the people who ride it can look down upon those who live on the hill and those who live near the coast. Not only is the idea ridiculous, it doesn't really matter, whether a family is rich or poor, because essentially every family has its own problem. Every family is also struggling, with something. There are also two teenagers that are somewhat similar, although one is from a rich family and one is from a family that is struggling financially. This novel, in my opinion, also shows how a person or a family can't just simply be defined, by their job, education, where they live, or their lineage. Everyone's life or family is definitely much more complex, than they appear to be. We never truly know what happens behind every door. Just because the son of a neighbor is studying at a prestigious school doesn't mean that the son is 100% admirable. Related to this point, I think the novel also reminds its readers not to judge other people's lives too quickly because, like I mentioned in the previous point, nothing is as simple as it seems. Sometimes there's even more to it than what you get or read from the media. Oh yeah, by the way, there was also a conversation about having a house in this novel. So essentially, there's this one character named Endo Mayu who is obsessed with having the perfect house. But this novel clearly shows that it doesn't really matter how luxurious or how costly your house is if your family is falling apart. Lastly, Minato Kanae did a great job at making despicable yet relatable characters with relatable problems. All of the characters in this novel are flawed to a certain degree, but I don't want to say that I condone what they do, but I would be lying if I said that I, had never had evil thoughts or done terrible things like them. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but the cover here is just simple and yet beautiful. I can't recall like how many times I, stared at this cover and be mesmerized by it. This is, just truly the kind of cover that I really love. And overall, the cover here is well done. So yeah, I would like to congratulate the designer at Pintor Boy and the cover stylish, I guess, at MNE Fan. You guys truly did a great job with the cover. And yeah, those are some of the good things that I found from this novel. And before we talk about the cons, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload a video. And also don't forget to like and share this video, especially if you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, apparently some people say that this novel is supposed to be a thriller, but to me, it didn't feel like a thriller at all. It felt more like a family neighbor drama with a mystery that, somewhat suspenseful, I guess. And even then, the mystery in this novel just gradually became boring for me. At one point, I did not even care about the mystery at all. I just focused a lot more on the characters. And I guess the reasons why these two things disappointed me, because I was expecting, an enjoyable or maybe fast-paced mystery thriller novel. And unfortunately, I didn't get that. By the end of it, I felt like I wanted more from this novel. Not only the mystery, but also some of the elements that are present in this novel, such as school bullying and the media. These two elements are actually quite fascinating, but they're not, not tackled that deeply in this novel. So in conclusion, I don't actually hate the novel. I just think that it could have been better. And because of that, Ferris Wheel at Night by Minato Kanae gets a 3.8 out of 5 from me. Yeah, that's all from me, but before I end this video, I would like to talk about the ending a little bit. So for those of you who haven't read this novel, you can just skip this part and, well, I'll see you in the next video. But if you have read this novel and you want to know my thoughts on the ending, well, you're definitely welcome to stay. So yeah, without further ado, here's my thoughts on the ending on this novel. So at the end of the novel, the Takashi's children decide to tell a lie to the media instead of telling what actually happened on the night of the murder. And I found this to be quite interesting because for the first time, we don't really know why they actually make that decision. I guess the book wants to challenge us, whether we're going to judge them immediately and say that they are doing the wrong thing or they are just terrible people, or are we going to think about it first? Are we going to try to understand why they decide to tell a lie instead of telling the truth? So essentially this part, has something to do with, not judging other people too quickly. And I also want to talk a little bit about the ending with Kojima Satoko, because by the end of the story, Kojima Satoko wants to ride that Ferris wheel with her son. And while on the phone with her son, she wonders how she will perceive her housing once she's up there. And I guess this part is related to the previous part that I mentioned, the looking down upon people part. Because essentially, Kojima Satoko was like the first one who looked down upon the other two families, the Endos and the Takahashis. She thought that they didn't belong there. Their lives did not reflect the lives of the people on Bukit Hibari. So maybe when she finally rides that Ferris wheel, she will completely change her views and how she perceives her neighbors. She'll basically, hopefully no longer look down upon them like she used to. And yeah, those were basically all the things that I wanted to say about this novel. And how about you? Have you read this novel, or are you going to read this novel? If you have read this novel, what do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Share your opinions and thoughts in the comments below. I'll definitely check it out. With that, my name is Dante from Dante's Book Talk. Thank you for watching and staying. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.